Several months ago, after I got my SIG red dot that I put on my Stoeger STR9, the company Cyelee had reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to try out one of their red dots. Now, I'm always a sucker for getting free stuff and trying it out, and I'd heard a lot of really good things about their products, mainly that they are very well made, they're an exceptional value for the money, they have a lot of good features, and Cyelee puts them up against all of the big competitors out there. They're waterproof, they're rugged, they have really good features, they have a larger viewing window than a lot of the competitors' products that are out there. You can take the battery out while it's still mounted on the gun. There's just a whole lot of good stuff to say about these. So, in all fairness, Cyelee did send me this for free. I was not paid for this video, but they did send me the red dot for free. Now, doing an unboxing, they give you a nice little Velcro patch and a sticker, obviously an instruction book. They give you some kind of quick start guides on how to mount the red dot on the gun, also proper ways to sight it in and things like that. So again, nice little reference cards. A couple of tools come in the package, a screwdriver for adjusting the windage and elevation, and a key to install the bolts on this thing. And then they give you basically what they call the every gun or the every screw package that has a whole ton of screws in there for just about every make or model of gun that you could possibly think of. Now, right out of the box, I started noticing some really nice features on this. Again, you can change the battery in this thing while it's still installed on the gun. Your windage screw is on the side. Your elevation screw is on the top of it. So you don't need to take any covers off or anything to make any adjustments. It has a really rugged frame on the outside of this. The adjustment knobs for the brightness are on the left-hand side of this. It has the ability to lock out the buttons, which they call ape. So if you're worried about turning that brightness up and down when you're in a competition, when you're holstering, you can actually disable the buttons. And it also has shake awake feature as well. This actually has 3 different reticle styles. The first one here that you see is a 2 MOA dot centered on a 26 MOA circle with 4 positioning points. You can just run the 2 MOA dot, or you can just run that 26 MOA circle with the 4 positioning dots. So pretty neat that you can change that. It also has 10 different brightness settings, 2 for night vision and 8 for daylight settings, and those are easily adjustable using the buttons on the side. Now, this red dot is made for the RMR SRO footprint, and I only have a few guns that have cuts for optics on them, so I had to do some searching and figure out which one I wanted to use. The first gun that I got that has an optics cut on it is my Ruger Max 9. And if you go back a year or so and look at some videos that I had on this gun, I actually already have an optic on this. This gun was made for the Ruger Ready Dot, which is a non-adjustable red dot that uses ambient light to light up a fiber optic coil that actually gives you a pretty large, I think like a 15 MOA dot. And it works out pretty good. It's not fantastic in low light conditions, but the fact that the Ruger Ready Dot was actually made for this pistol, it gives you the ability to still co-witness it with the factory sights, and it's really used for fast target acquisition and just a rough estimate on what you're aiming at. It is fairly decent for picking up targets quickly. I need to practice with it a little bit more, but I really do like that red dot. Unfortunately, that is the RMSC, or the compact footprint, so I'm not going to be able to fit this new Cyelee on this particular handgun. The next gun that I checked out and possibly thought about putting this red dot on was my Stoeger STR9. Now, when I spoke with the rep at Cyelee, they had actually mentioned that this would be a really good option for the STR9. It's made to be a competition sight. It's made for full-size guns. And they said, you know, this would actually work out pretty well on this gun. I had considered doing it, but this particular one, I had changed out the top plate and put an RMSC footprint on it as well, and actually put on a SIG Romeo 0 Elite red dot. And that one, the first one I put on, I had issues with. The elevation adjustment was way out of whack. I could not get the thing zeroed. So SIG actually sent me a replacement one that I put on. And I like that optic a lot. It's really small. It's compact. It has a really nice bright dot in it and everything like that. The only thing I really don't like about it, because it's a budget optic, it does not have shake awake function, and you have to reach all the way down almost to the glass to turn it on. But it does work pretty well. Because I haven't spent a whole lot of time behind the Stoeger STR9 with the red dot optic on it already, I didn't want to take it off. I really want to spend some time and get good at using that Sig Romeo Zero optic on that gun. And so I decided that I had to take a look at my only other gun that's optics ready, which is the venerable Sig Sauer M17. And I can just hear all the booing in the background now. No, I'm not a shill for Sig. I bought this gun with my own money. I bought it because I wanted to have the military's most modern pistol that they have. I know there's a lot of controversy around the P320. I know that people say they go off on their own. I don't plan to carry this gun for self-defense. To me, this is a range toy, so you guys can just stop whining about all that stuff right now. Let's get on with the rest of the video. Now, I myself had to do some research on this because I wasn't really sure how to mount a red dot on this. And one of the things that Cyelee had said when I had gotten this red dot is that the M17 has so many different footprints on the top of the slide, you really have to take it apart and look at it. So once I got the rear sight and the top plate off, I was able to actually do a little bit of research using, you know, Ask Jeeves and Hotbot and places like that. And I was able to find this adapter plate, and this is going to work out really well. So I cannot tell you where to buy this, but again, if you do a little bleep blooping on the Jeeves or Hotbot, you could probably find one of these for yourself. This thing was around a half a Benjamin, and it came with everything I needed to mount it on the gun and with the screws to mount the optic onto this. Now, the screws that it came with were not for the Cyelee optic, so luckily they send you all those random screws inside of the box because I did have to dig through all those and find one that actually worked on this slide, on this adapter with the Cyelee optic. Now, like anything else, you always want to test fit the parts to make sure they do work together. And this actually worked out perfect. The mounting holes and everything were perfectly lined up. The screw holes were lined up perfectly. And this is the part that I bought, EGW. And there's the part number, 49500, proudly made in the USA. So now I have everything laid out here that I need to use to complete this assembly and put that red dot on the gun. I have it field stripped here. And again, just doing a little bit of test fitting, make sure that everything fits properly on the slide and that the red dot fits properly on the adapter. And so far, everything's looking really good. So test fit on the gun, it looks perfect. Everything fits great. And, you know, as I assembled this, I did use blue Loctite to put the screws through the slide up into the adapter plate, and the screws that go down into the adapter plate through the red dot actually had blue Loctite on them as well. And this is what the final assembly looks like. I couldn't be happier. It's actually, the red dot being a little bit wider than the slide still looks a little bit funny to me because it's actually made for like a heavier race gun or something like that that might have a little bit wider slide. This isn't really a duty red dot. Again, it's meant to be a wider viewing angle, a bigger window so that it's really easy to pick up the targets quicker. And I have to say, I'm still learning how to use red dots. You have to keep both eyes open. And especially with this particular one, if I try to squint and close my left eye, the picture actually gets blurry, or the little reticle that's inside this thing actually gets blurry. But if you hold it at arm's length and you keep both eyes open, it's literally like you have a bionic eye. I can't even describe how it feels when you're looking through this optic, how good it feels just looking at it. If you put it in front of your dominant eye, keep both eyes open and just move the gun around. So the biggest thing that I need to practice is bringing the gun up in front of me, you know, bringing it up to the ready position where I need to shoot and having it just so that the red dot automatically goes right in front of my dominant eye. That's what you're supposed to do with these. And I know I get comments all the time from people pointing out my incompetency that I don't keep both eyes open when I'm shooting with a red dot. And you're right. It's something I need to work on. I said that really early this year. I said it when I bought the Ready Dot. I said it again when I bought the Sig Romeo Elite. I just need to practice with it a lot more. And part of the problem is I don't have nearly enough time to get out to the range. But now that I have this awesome Cyelee optic on my Sig M17, my goal is going to be to practice with this a whole lot so I can get proficient at pressing that gun forward, bringing that red dot up into my plane of view, keeping both eyes open, and being as proficient as I can shooting this gun. So as I said before, I know a lot of people hate the SIG M17 and the P320 pistols. They think they're terrible. I'm not going to get in that argument. All I know is this gun is a great shooter, and now I have a really cool optic on it. So thank you, Cyelee, for sending me this red dot optic. Now, Cyelee did give me a discount code for 15% off to share with everybody. The problem is it's taken me a while to upload this video, so I'm not even sure the code is still good. But if you're smart, you can figure out where to use it and you can try it. Now that I have it installed on the gun, I'm going to do my best to take this thing out and really give it a good, fair test. Cyelee does want me to kind of torture test it to make sure that their products are useful and very reliable. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. God bless America. Support your two-way rights. Get out there and shoot. And you remember, if someone asks you to give up some of your freedom for the greater good, remind them that freedom is always the greater good.